Leave it there for now, Jade. There is indeed a press briefing currently taking place. Durban Metro Police are briefing the media on the ongoing civil unrest in the city. They're discussing how to tackle the unrest. Let's take you there live.
The staff here, and then after that make arrangements to take it to whatever the venue that SABC is going to provide.
I mean, as the Commissioner, how has all this been for you, the entire unrest, the fact that Durban's been the center of all this sort of...
The mayor, I believe, is going to be speaking to you guys tomorrow. The mayor has got a briefing of the whole round of what it's been, how the city has been affected and how the city is responding. But operationally, in terms of Metro Police, I want to thank the commanders and thank the members who hit the call to say nobody sleeps. We've got shifts that are starting in the morning and shifts that are starting in midnight, back to back, to make sure that all the members are at work and they are tired. They don't even have time to go and get food for their families. And it's a sacrifice of a lifetime to protect the community and to stabilize the city.
Matsongwane, can you just take us through what will be your planned intervention going forward, considering that we've seen scenes where law enforcement has been heavily overwhelmed and people are now wanting to see real action. Can you just take us, what is your plan going forward?
The plan, as you will know, I wouldn't divulge the whole plan because it may land up in the wrong hands, but we are working with crime intelligence and we are gathering information. As you might have seen in the national briefing this morning, the Minister of Police together with the State Security Minister, there's a lot of work that has been done which in the right fora we get given those tips, intelligence products in which we work with. So I can tell you that the law enforcement agencies are in an advanced stage of making sure that the communities are safe and there's stability in the city.
And what help are you expecting from the military?
The issue of military, I think it will be, as it has been announced, any time from now we expect them to come, but they are controlled by the Prov Joint.
Their numbers, will they have much impact?
The provincial joint will be the right forum to give you those details.
Commissioner, you've been on the front lines for such a long time. We haven't seen anything like this in Durban. Do you feel that a state of emergency should be declared at this point?
No, that I cannot say that will be the road to go. All what I think needs to happen is a communication between communities and the law enforcement agencies, cooperation, and explanation to the communities as to how to handle this. I think that's going to be the solution. But more details of how the local government, together with the provincial and the national government, is envisaging to deal with this matter will be unveiled properly tomorrow in the mayor's briefing. For us here is to tell you the operational successes, as you can see, so that the communities don't feel that the police are not doing anything. The police are working back to back to ensure the safety of everyone, the safety of the protesters as well as the safety of the communities and the people who are not part of it. So our job is to make sure that no lives are lost in what is happening.
Just for me, Commissioner, no doubt you are stretched, but we've seen now residents of eThekwini taking up arms, blockading their own streets and neighborhoods. How difficult, how is that going to complicate the work that you're doing? Because we've already seen confrontation between them and supposed looting mobs and other residents as well. If you move into a particular area, you're being told this area is only for it's for residents or a certain racial group. Is that going to further complicate the situation? How are you going to manage that?
There's a lot of work which is being done by the political leadership of the city, the province and national to deal with that aspect. However, we are as a law enforcement and together with security companies are working together to achieve the public safety. We appeal to communities not to become vigilantes in these situations. Try to work with the law enforcement agencies in making sure that if there is any harm or threat towards your community or your life, those are the agencies that can deal with the situation properly. Because we don't want to have a situation where there are revenge attacks and all those things. That's all what I will say at the level of the police.
And the profile of so many looters seems to be affluent. Looters going into Mercedes, it's going, there are a lot of sightings of that.
Yeah, that's as you can see, the products that are here.
Well, rather than syndicates, individuals who are wealthy, who really are not poverty-stricken people who taking advantage of this. Can you give us any comment on that?
Yeah, I agree with that narrative. This issue is not only poverty. Poverty plays a role. That one as well, I can tell you, it does play a role. However, there are criminal elements who have taken the opportunity of this unstable situation to do what they normally do. They rob businesses on a normal situation. Now that there is this upheaval, they are taking advantage. It's not people who are hungry who will take television sets, who will take all these fridges and all of that. It's people who are an organized crime syndicate for the purposes of crime and criminality.
Commissioner, I understand this is going to the South African Police Service now, the looting, but in your experience, what generally happens to such goods that are stolen?
The goods that are stolen are kept at the South African Police Service. Then the issue of identification happens after the crime has been, the criminal process has been completed. Then the state will decide what to do with the goods, whether it's possible to return them to their rightful owners, whether the rightful owners can identify them. That's what happens at the end of the criminal investigation.
Thank you.
Thank you. But then the officers and the commanders can elaborate for the details, how many officers were involved and all of that.
Guys, as you can see here, this is where all the stuff that is confiscated and kept for safekeeping, because the South African Police Service do not. As you can see here, that this is where the stuff which has been confiscated or which were lying abandoned and we have picked up on the side of the road, this is where all the stuff gets kept. The stuff is then tagged, the dates, all information is placed on the register here and kept for safekeeping to follow the process, the chain of command, or the chain of evidence. That's the most important thing, is the chain of evidence in everything, in all criminal acts that has been committed. So this will be kept here until the case is before court of the arrested persons as well. We have arrested more than 400 people already in the Durban Metro Police Service area. So this will continue. We are continuing to arrest, take people to the police station. We're either taking them with the goods or without the goods. As I indicated, the South African police do not have the capacity to store the goods. So we are storing the goods here, and the suspects are taken to the South African Police Service cells.
Superintendent, can I ask a bit of a question where you might not know the answer, but any idea of when we might see the end of this, of police talks, of when your operations would reach a stage that we would see the end of looting. Any sort of comment on that?
It's very, very difficult to give you a date, time, or when this would actually stop. You can only measure maybe after the other law enforcement agencies come to the party.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, so.
Okay, thanks. So once you can continue taking videos.
All right, that's Durban Metro Police briefing the media on the unrest that, of course, we've been keeping an eye on in Durban, in the city. Well, it's really just unrest throughout KZN. From what we saw earlier on, our reporter Jade Lee Paulson was showing us a huge factory that's been gutted up in flames. From our aerial visuals, you would have seen that. And in fact, she had passed about 5, I think, at that point, of factories that have indeed been really up in smoke at this time. We're certainly getting more information from KZN and more from Johannesburg and those hot spots that we've been paying attention to certainly later on and in our later bulletins. Let's take a short break for now. More news after